This is your money in an actively managed fund. And this is your money in a low-cost 10x index fund. 10x, why settle for less?
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, you're watching New Retirement Thinking. We're getting down to the basics of retirement planning and the concept of what is retirement. Here in studio is Director and Retirement Life Planner at Chartered Wealth Solutions, Kim Potgieter. Now, Kim, retirement, and we can see examples, the French have a different view in a different age. The Greeks have got themselves into a lot of trouble having a different retirement age as well. What is retirement, and what is a realistic expectation of when we get into that phase of our lives?
Because the retirement's quite a man-made concept. I mean, people used to retire because their bodies were tired because they were doing physical labor. Now we're doing all this intellectual work, and yet we're also told that we should be retiring. I understand the concept because we're making space for younger people to come in and take over. Otherwise, we've got this generation of people who can't find jobs because the older people are holding on to all the jobs. I think it's a time in our lives where we do, in a way, we step to the side, but we shouldn't be stepping away. We should be there to mentor, to be assisting the younger generation to come in to take over. But at the same time, we've got so much value to still add that we shouldn't be pushed aside. So, ideally, if we could have a combination where the older people were coming in to mentor and get the younger generation, we were working together, I think we'd be far more successful than where we're sitting right now. And this country needs all that knowledge with the young generation learning from the older generation.
What's the magic around the numbers 60 or 65 to say that's the age that you're retired?
There's absolutely no magic number. I mean, really, we at our company at Chartered, we've redefined retirement as a time in our lives where we get to live our unfulfilled dreams, but in our own time and on our own terms. The time and the terms become quite important because most of our working life, we're kind of on a hamster wheel, chasing. And this retirement period is a period where we can actually go and do some more things, but in our own time. It doesn't mean not working. And I think that's the magic to this all. Why do we have to stop working? Yes, we make space, but we don't have to stop working and stop adding value. We want to still add value.
That is a mind shift in my mind, because I think, you get the gold watch, you pick up the golf clubs, and you potter around the house, and you take up leisure pursuits. So you're no longer making a living, but now you've got to transform to actually having a life. And I'm not sure a lot of people are mentally prepared for that.
So my thinking is, and what I really encourage with the 25-year-old, 35 and 45-year-old, is bring some balance into their lives. So at 25, you should be going and doing the leisure things. And I think the younger generation are. They're not, we've got major differences between a 65-year-old and a 25-year-old. A 65-year-old has devoted himself to his company, and he didn't, or she didn't find much time to do everything else. Whereas the younger generation are saying, no, hang on, I don't want to just wait for them for leisure. I want to do everything now. And I think, in a way, it's a lot better to bring in that balance and to have hobbies and to have areas and look after your health and your relationships with people in your life, so that not only when you come to retirement you've got time for all that. There's a wheel of balance. Look at your wheel of balance and be living it from when you're 25. And then when you're 65, there's a lot more to do than just playing golf.
Yeah. Now, I'd imagine that it's quite traumatic to have this scale of change in your life, where you've been corporate CEO, you fly business class, everybody, you walk into a room, they stand up, you've got the power seat and all the rest of it. We've derived a lot of our identity out of what we've done, and then you say, well, 65, you're not going to the office anymore. There's quite a dynamic that changes there, I'd imagine.
And I see that often because I sit with clients and I help them plan their retirements. And I do a lot of CEOs from companies. The big thing is I love to work with them quite a few years before retirement. So we start working on a life that they're going to retire to. That identity thing of finding themselves other than in their role. And not waiting until the day they're told that they're retiring, to actually start 5, 10 years before, bringing in other elements so that when the transition happens, they're actually excited because they've got other things they're going to. There's somewhere else that they're going to make a significant difference, so they're not so upset about leaving their companies. They leave their companies with much more positively, So when they leave, they've mentored the people, they've got them ready, plus they speak well about their company. They don't just feel that they've been put out.
We've seen a number of JSC directors, they'll retire at 55 and they'll go and do something from one industry, they'll go somewhere totally different and do something else. Is that a new kind of rejuvenation, or it's not quite retirement, but it's just changing how you do things?
It's changing how you do things, and that's what I call retirement. And that's why in my book it's called Retirement with an A, because I want you to have mentored. We don't have to do the same career our entire lives. So we've got other skills. I am many times encouraging people to go and do something more creative. Most of us, in the beginning, we had to make the money so that we could retire. And we've got all these skills and these creative juices that we want to get out there. And now's that opportunity. You don't have to go and do the same thing again. Go and do something completely different. But that brings you fulfillment, that brings you satisfaction, that gives you purpose, as opposed to just being that person that just sticks in their job because they have to.
I appreciate that insight. That's all we're going to fit into this particular New Retirement Thinking. Thank you for watching, and thank you for always supporting and joining us. Goodbye.
New Retirement Thinking is proudly brought to you by 10X. Why settle for less?